Welcome to our webisode and welcome to the Animal Kingdom. This is the second season from our friends at Hunkydory, and I have to tell you, Heidi has done some wonderful things with this, so please come play with us. Before we get started on the cards, let me briefly introduce you to the collection. So I showed you this. This is the Luxury Topper collection. There are 102 gold foiled die cut shapes. There are 8 printed cardstock, and there's 8 foil cardstock, and then as you can see there is the idea sheet on the front, so that's, and it's going to make at least 16 cards, but I know you're going to make more than that. The Little Kingdom, the little book of Animal Kingdom, has 144 pages. Now these are 4 1/8 by 5 7/8, so a really nice size. You get 24 designs and you get 6 of each one, so that's neat. And the artwork are larger versions of what you see in the topper set. Now these are the inserts. There are 36 here. There are 12 designs. You can see the penguins right there, and you're going to get 3 of each one. Then the matching cardstock, they call it the Adorable Scoreable. There are 10 colors. You can see them right there, and you're going to get 3 sheets of each one. So that works out. Okay, let's get into the cards and share with you Heidi's creativity. So here we go. Now we'll get in closer so that you can really see these. And this first one I just absolutely love. I think the woman is so clever. Now let me show it to you. So we're going to open this flap and that card, and there's the inside. How neat is that? Now Heidi started with 2 of our blank cards. Now as you probably know, they measure 5 by 6.5 inches, and obviously this piece, let's see, that piece is the regular card, but then the second piece she used with the second card, but she's also given us a download, and I'll share that with you when we get to that part. But let's start right here. Now this has been done with that piece of that printed cardstock that I mentioned, and here's the one that goes with this particular collection. You can see we've got the squirrels and the birds down here. We've got this really pretty graphic up on the upper corner, and very clever. Heidi has used that to cover the very front of her card. And by cover, I mean, here's the process. Take your glue stick or whatever glue you use, go around the outside edge, because you really want the outside edges where you're going to be handling this, you want them to be secured down. I always put an X in the middle. And then position the cardstock right here along the fold and along the upper edge. Press it down, then simply turn this over, whoops, like that, and then just trim it to fit. That will work perfectly, no measuring, super, super easy. Now we are going to use this part, but right now we're just using this upper left-hand corner. So that gets taken care of right now, turning that back so it isn't interfering. And then she used the thin line Dazzles, and these are exactly as the title suggests. They're thin art, and they are in black, white, gold, and silver. And you can see how she placed it along the edge of that art. You'll notice this one, we're not going to place it yet because you need a positioning. So let me open this and let me show you the download. This is what the download looks like. You can see it's that flap. Looks like that. And this broken line is where you're going to score it. And so that's measuring. This is going to be the 5 inches square going up to, or 5 inches going up to that score line, and then it goes up 5 inches, 5.5 inches to the top also. So you can print that out, and then you will make this piece. So here's what it looks like. And then we're going to take the extra sticky tape, this is our favorite, and place it right along this little tab and position that on the back of our card, the very back of it. So it's going to flap over like that. It's a flap that goes on the top, okay? This is a good thing to remember to have, okay? Now, you can see that she went back into this piece of cardstock, the printed cardstock, and she cut straight along the edge. She did some cutting right around that foliage and then straight down here. So she cut off that little decorative edge just to keep that straight, okay? Then she glued that onto the front of the flap and positioned that other row of thin line dazzles right along the edge. So it just does a really nice job. I think it's brilliant. I really do. Heidi, I'm so proud of you. Now, the other thing that she did is she took the sheet of toppers out of that collection, and this is the one that has the squirrels. It also has some raccoons. They might be badgers since this came from England, but I'm going to call them raccoons. So she took out the little deer and the many happy returns. They are glued and foam taped at the top. The All My Love, which is right here, is foam taped right along the bottom there. Now she also used the burgundy ribbons, and this is what that collection looks like. We are just finding it so useful. And so she's got 2 bows that are zotted right top and bottom. Now let's go to the inside of our card. And in this case, she also went back to not only the topper sheet. This is called the Hidden Forest, by the way. There's always a title in the upper right-hand corner. And with that, she used the sheet that was foiled. Now remember in the opening, I said that the topper collection has printed cardstock, that's this one, and foil cardstock, that's this one. They both belong to this collection, the Hidden Forest, so everything coordinates. Now, you can see this has got wood on it, and she did not use this side, but she did use this side, and you can see one area's kind of a lighter color down to pine cones, but she used the lighter area, and she cut it to fit on the inside of her card. So it's going to be 5 inches by 6.5 inches tall. Simply glued it in place, and you do get that foiling. And then she went into the topper set. So you can see there are those raccoon badgers that are just glued straight down. Then she took the pair of foxes and foam taped them up. And then Family is the Gift That Lasts Forever. Right there, that's foiled, as you can see. That also was foam taped. Really, really a nice collage of imagery. And then more of the thin line dazzles at the top, 2 at the bottom, and 2 more of the burgundy bows. So it just all works so, so nicely. And you haven't even used everything on that topper sheet, so there's even more that you can create with. Okay, let's go to our next card. And this is using, as you can see, well, this Animal Kingdom collection has animals from all areas of the globe. So as you can see that these guys are just right here. And this little 5-inch card, square card, has an opening. And very nice. So you can see what's going on there. Now, this is made with a sheet of the Adorable Scoreable, that solid cardstock. And to make a 5-inch square card, you're going to take this, cut a piece that's 5 inches by 10 inches. Then Heidi recommends, and I do too, that you score it. Now this is Hunkydory's Adorable Scoreboard. It goes with their adorable cardstock, and it's nice because it's got the bone folder attached, so you're not going to lose it. So one side has inches, the other side has metric. Of course we use the inch side, and then you can simply put your 5 by 10 piece in here and score right in the middle, make that score, and then fold it in half, and you will get this blank card. So we're going to start with that. Now we want to create that window, that aperture. So what Heidi has used is our square and scalloped cutting dies. These are just highly, highly useful. Now what she has done is to take, I believe it is the 3.5-inch one. It is in the instructions. The instructions are down below. Well, down below you'll see all of the cards. Just click on any of the cards and you'll see the instructions over on the right-hand side, right above them. If there is a download, it will be noted there and you can just click on it and print it out. Super, super easy. So anyway, you're going to place the straight-lined square right here. Open this up, run it through your die cutting machine, and then you will have a perfect square right there. Super easy. Now, what I think is brilliant is that she used the layers that are around these little guys so effectively. Now, this has 3 layers. So there's the outside. Let me just pop this a little bit so you can see. Okay, there's that one. Then there is an inner one. Here we go. And then there is a center one. Okay. And you know what? I lied. There's 2. No, there's 3. Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay, push this. Come on. Sometimes you have to talk to it. Okay, so you can see there's the outer one, the inner one, which is all gold, and then we've got the toucans. So this one is going to fit perfectly around the outside of that square, and we're going to glue that straight to the cardstock. Now the middle frame, the one that's all gold, that gets raised up on foam tape, so you get some dimension. We're not going to talk about this yet because we want to finish first with the front of our card, okay? So then what she has done is on this topper sheet, now this is called Adventures at Sea, that she has taken the seahorses and glued them right over the frame. Actually, they're foam taped right over the frame. Best Wishes is right here, and that has been glued on this side and foam taped on this side, so it rests evenly. So that finishes that front, but we have a few more things to add. So Heidi wanted some dimension, and she went to the wishing bubbles from our friends at 49 and Market. Now there are 2 colors. They have been used a little bit by the design team. This is, let me see, the name is Soda Pop, and this one is Crush. So these 2, the gray and the peach, she used some of them are epoxy, some of them are on foam tape. They're all self-adhesive, and she has placed these, and I think that design is really nice, and I'm very proud of her for that. So this is using the Fancy Border Pearl and Pastel Dazzles. So there's, I think there are 20 sheets in here, all different colors, but you can see that this beautiful kind of a soft coral is what she has used. And look how she's done those borders. These are a shorter one, a little bit longer, and then an even longer one. And then she put the wishing bubbles on top, added a couple of wishing bubbles on the seahorses, and then she finished it with a ribbon, a gold ribbon. This is from the Gold and Silver collection. So it just works really nicely. Okay, so you've got that window. Now let's go to the inside of the card. And on the inside of the card, she elected to do a couple of things with it. This is a sheet from the inserts. Now, the inserts always have a ghosted back image that is out of the Topper collection. But Hunkydory has started doing these with an all-over pattern, and this is one of the all-over pattern. So when you get the inserts, you've got a lot of things that you can do with them. So she simply covered the inside of her card, that 5x5 space, with that insert. And then she took a piece of that cardstock that she used to create her card base and glued it right there. And then you can see that she took the border that is on the Topper set and glued it right above the cardstock. More of the Fancy Border Dazzles right there. More of the wishing bubbles right there. Now, this is that center topper, the one right there, because we use the other 2. And this has been lifted up with 2 layers of foam tape. And that way, when you're positioning that, you want to make sure it's going to fit perfectly inside the frame, and that just works so nicely. I think that's very clever. Again, an idea that can be used on many, many cards. So thank you, Heidi. We'll take that and use it. Now, this is another idea, and I think it too is clever. Well, the woman has just done so well. Now, as you can see, this is the owls, but can you see the eyes? And can you also see under the feathers here? Okay, can you see? Well, that is done with our glitter cardstock. So let me tell you through the process. Again, it's our 5 by 6.5 inch card. That works just really well. And Heidi has first cut a piece of the adorable scoreable that is a bit smaller than the card. Again, directions are down below. So that goes right there. It does allow the card to be a mat around it. So we're not covering it this time. We're just cutting it a little bit smaller. So then she has taken an image from that little book, and the one that has the 144 designs. Okay, so this is it. And this, she's going to do a couple of things with. Now, because she wanted the glowing eyes, I have to kind of say it is glowing eyes. Do you see all that? Okay, well, what she did is a couple of things. Now, for the first one, on that purple piece, she took a piece of the copper glitter cardstock, and that's what it looks like. Oh, so pretty. In fact, let me take it out because you want to see it. You want to see it up close and personal. This has 3 sheets in it, super price, very good price on it. And these are backed with paper. So I'll tell you, the design team tells me it die cuts like a dream. And I can guarantee you of that. And so she cut a piece and glued it on top of the lavender. So that was right. But she's going to use some behind this little book of piece. So now she's going to go and put this on a self-healing cutting mat. Sorry, I don't have one right here, but let me just show you what she's done. So we like to use the retractable penknife. So this has a very fine blade. If I can show that to you, you can see that, because it will just give you more control, and it's just really nice. Oh, thank you, Steve. There you go. And so place this on the self-healing mat, and what she has cut out is around the pupil on both eyes. Then she went into the front owl and simply cut along some of the feathers. So just to give them a place to lift up a little bit. So we've got the 2 birds, we've got the moon going there, and all of the foliage. Now, what I like about this knife, another thing I like, first of all, because it's so easy to use, but to retract it, you just press on the button and it retracts, so you don't have any blade sitting on your surface to puncture your hand. And I like that. Okay, now this is going to get glued to just the edges of it to that same copper glitter cardstock. And you see what happens is that you see the glitter around the eye, and as you move the card, in fact, you can lift these up even more than I have done, and you can see some of the glitter underneath it. So it's a nice technique. And she foam taped this to the dark green adorable scoreable, such a pretty green, and then glued it to the lavender. And then the ribbon, it looks like it's 2 pieces, but what Heidi did is she created a bow, so she tied a bow and just left the tails long so that she could glue them flat to that corner of her card. So that worked well. Now the words right there, the hugs, that comes from our We're Together Dazzles, and this just has wonderful phrases. Missing you, get well, love you, thinking of you, missing our time together, my friend. So all of this, there's 2 sheets in here. They're in black, And so that's where the hugs came from. Now on the, excuse me, the inside of her card, as always, you're going to be repeating the same items that we've used. Excuse me. Now, she first started with the copper glitter cardstock, and this piece is, I think it's about 3 inches wide. And then she just glued it to the outside edge of her card. Then she took a piece of that green that she used on the front and glued it along the fold. Now, this has 3 owls, and clever woman. So what she did is she cut around the owls themselves, just the right hand edge. So just trimmed right around that, cut out the moon, trimmed up here where their feathers are. Then she glued that next to the fold, right along the fold. Okay, but there's some empty space. So she took another piece, because remember, you get multiples of them, and simply cut out this owl and glued it in the front. Kind of dropped it down over toward the fold and placed it there. Perfect. Really, really neat. The Love You comes from the We're Together Dazzles, the knotted ribbon from the same set. I didn't tell you that, did I? This is obviously from the green ribbon set, and you can see it has lots of different shades of green, and so that gets knotted there. And that same bow that we talked about on the front. So that takes care of this card. You've got some shimmer glitter going on. I also think it's very smart of her. Now, she introduced a different element here and under the feathers, but she duplicated it just with the edge of the glitter cardstock there. So it does link together, and then of course on the inside it really makes a statement. So very fun. Okay, one more card. Now, as I said, the cards are all over the globe, and this is no exception. So isn't this pretty? And I love what she's done. Blue and silver are, of course, a wonderful combination, but she's added silver that is metallic and silver that is glitter. So let me show you how that works. Now, she did start with a card that is made out of the silver glitter. So this is how it comes. They're already scored. They come with envelopes. There are 10 envelopes and 10 cards. And they do measure our standard 5 by 6.5. Okay, we're consistent through everything. Now, what she has done is she has taken this image and she matted it onto one of the adorable scorables. And you know, whenever you have cardstock that matches everything, it just makes life so much easier. So she has matted it there and trimmed it to fit, leaving a 1/8 inch border all the way around. Now, at this point, she's going to mat this onto the metallic silver, and the metallic silver looks like this. It is a smooth metallic silver. So she's got this piece matted on the blue, and then she's going to mat it on the silver, and you can see how pretty that looks. Well, you can see how it looks right here. Looks really nice. Then that's going to be glued to her card base, and because of the way we've sized it, you're going to see that glitter all the way around, and that's nice. By the way, that glitter does not shed. It's not going to rub off. It's not going to, you're not going to be wearing it all day. When you go shopping, it's not going to be a problem. Now, you can see, I think you can see, that there's some depth to this image, and Heidi has done that again by some clever trimming. And what she did is she took, again, you get multiple sheets of each image. So she took this piece, the biggest image right there, and then the smallest, and then she just did the lighthouse peak with the light, and she cut those out and foam taped them on top. So you can see there, right there, and right there. So the dolphins are just jumping at the lighthouse, just really pretty. This one is staying in the background where these two are popped to the foreground. The thanks, well, the thanks is on another Dazzles because they're so handy. This is the 500 script greetings. And again, these are in multiple colors, black, white, gold, and silver, I believe. And you can see the silver right there with thanks. I love the little heart dangling at the end of it. Really pretty. Now, those glitter cardstock It is glitter cardstock on the front and the back, but inside it is white, okay? Now, what she's done here, remember on the last card I talked about the inserts starting to have patterns on them? Well, this is another one, and what Heidi did is similar to the last, where she put glue around and then positioned this along the fold and the top, turned it over, cut it out, trimmed it to fit. The other thing she did is something I haven't seen before, is she took this same image, again you get multiples of them, she matted it on that same blue. Now when she matted it, she's only going to mat it on 3 sides. She's not going to go down here. You could trim this first and then simply do that matting, so that makes it easy. But notice how this is just using the majority of the piece, but not all of it. So it's duplicating what's on the front, but in a different way. The thank you is from the same script greeting, Dazzles, and does a nice job. And then there's even room to write a message if you like. So very pretty, very unique cards. I think the woman is very creative, and that's what we have with our design team here at Paper Wishes. So this is completing our Animal Kingdom. Now this is the 2nd season. You may remember the 1st season happened last year, and this is the topper set. There is the little book of Animal Kingdom, 2nd season. These are the adorable scorable. You certainly saw many of them used, and the inserts that played so well with everything. So that's our collection. And Heidi, I just want to thank you so much for your creativity and sharing it with us. If you are watching this on YouTube, I hope you'll click that you like it, and I hope that you will subscribe, because we want to keep you with us and share with you. Do you know we have almost 20, sometimes 20 webisodes a month, every single month. So that's a lot of creativity to share with you. And also, if you're on YouTube, or even if you're right here at paperwishes.com, notice that money saver. We always have a special offer for you. And as I've been saying, you can see the cards down below with the complete instructions. So that's what we have for this week, for this Sunday. And I want to thank you for joining us, and for mostly for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We'll see you next time.